Let me take you back to my early days in the pet business. It was my very first big holiday season, and I was excited about bookings coming in. I thought, like, this is going to be so amazing. Business is booming. We're finally doing this. But by the end of it all, I was completely drained. I hadn't set up any boundaries. I didn't have a cap on my bookings at this time. And I definitely said yes to everyone because I was afraid of turning business away. Now, remember, I'm a business owner. I want to grow, I want to succeed, and I don't want to tell people no, like in my first year. But when I didn't say no or have any kind of boundaries around my business, what followed was pure chaos. I overworked myself. My team was exhausted. I had to scramble to cover last minute bookings. And to top it off, I spent the holidays stressed out. I barely saw my extended family. It was one of those moments where I thought there has definitely got to be a better way. Now, looking back, I realize how many mistakes that I made in the first year. But here's the thing, those mistakes taught me some of the most valuable lessons I had learned in business this far, honestly. So, today I'm going to share with you guys some lessons that I learned so you don't have to go through as you extend yourself through this holiday season to hopefully avoid burnout. Mistake number one was not having those booking cut off times. That's the time of the year where you're going into October. You know, Thanksgiving is coming up. You know, Christmas. You know, New Year's is coming up, some of the busiest times. And we want to start talking about having our bookings close early in the year, right? When kids are going back to school, September, October, we want to send out those reminders. And I had not done that at this point. So in that first year, I didn't even think about cutting on a setting on a cutoff date. I was taking clients up until the day before Christmas Eve. And you know what happened? Last minute bookings threw everything off. We were rushing to schedule, trying to find coverage, and I completely derailed the team's careful planning around their holiday schedules. And so I figured, listen, people are coming in, we got to take them. And so I worked from morning until night every single day in that first year. What I wish I had known back then is that you do, in fact, need a cutoff date. At least 2 weeks, I would say, before the holiday. This gives you time to organize, you can finalize your schedule, and deal with any hiccups that might come up. Now, I send reminders to my clients every quarter from that experience starting on September. And so that really makes sure they book early. You guys know how it is. People forget. They don't even know if they're going to go out of town. They're not even thinking about it that far, right? When you ask someone, hey, do you want to make a plan? They're like, girl, I'm not even thinking that far ahead. And that's really how your clients are thinking as well. But in order to run a smooth business, you have to be that person that knocks on their door through email, through content, and says, hey, we're taking bookings now and we're filling up fairly quickly. So make sure you get yours in. And you know what? That system works. Clients appreciate the heads up and it gives everyone peace of mind. Now, again, 2 weeks would be the latest, but if you can start shouting out every quarter for the holidays you have coming up, so when you have those team meetings, look at the holidays coming up in the future so you can already book with your team and find out who's going to be there and who's not. And so that brings us into number two is overbooking the team or underbooking the team. So when you're overbooking the team, that means that you're not considering that someone on your team may call out. If they do, you no longer have any space to have coverage. So I always recommend underbooking just a little bit. So if I say that our cap is like 10, dogs or cat for the day, if the cap is 10 comfortably, I'm actually going to book everyone at 8 in case someone calls out. They can all take on 2 additional pets and they don't feel strained by doing so. And so that was a classic mistake I was thinking of right off the bat, that it really stretched my team during the holidays when something unexpected happened, snow days, flat tires. You guys know how it is. Anything could happen. And we really didn't have enough cushion to jump in. And so I thought, well, you know what? We can just make it work. But the truth is, overbooking doesn't really work. It just leads to stress and burnout. And that happens for both you and your team. And guess what? The next season you ask someone to cover, they're going to say no because they remember how painful it was the year before. So that one year, I had packed my schedule so much that one of my staff members did end up calling out sick in the snow, and that just led to the domino effect I've been talking about. Everyone had to jump in, pick up the slack, and it left the entire team feeling very frustrated and overwhelmed. So you can learn from my pet error. Talk to your team right now and say, listen, we need a cap. I listened to the Pet Error podcast today, and we need to have a cap. And not only do we need to have a cap, but we need to also have booking times where we cut off so we know exactly who's coming in. So setting a cap on bookings for each team member, that again will leave you room and flexibility in case anything unexpected happens. If your cap is 3, then maybe you want to do 2. Just make sure you have a little bit of buffer. That's going to save you a lot of headaches. And it also could absorb any call outs so everyone doesn't feel like they're just overloaded the entire time. Now, also saying yes to everyone. Boundaries, in fact, do matter from this experience. Trying to avoid burnout in the holidays because when you get in the mode of saying yes, 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 I get it, I've been there. But when you're starting out, like I was, saying yes to everyone just feels like kind of the right thing to do. You don't want to say no. But the reason why we do say no is because we don't want to lose good customers by failing in our service. And that's what happens when we overbook and don't say no, unfortunately. And that's really a hard lesson that a lot of us learn. A lot of us are impists. A lot of us want to say yes, and we don't want to give our clients to someone that probably not even going to take half as good as care as you would. But in reality is if you remind yourself that, hey, I did notify this customer months in advance. I did send them multiple emails and I did implement a 2-week cutoff. So if they're going to book me at this point, I have the right now to charge a last minute booking fee. And that's only permitted that I actually have room in the first place. Now you're putting the onus on the client and not on you. One of my biggest regrets was not sticking to my service agreement. I made so many exceptions, saying like, okay, yeah, we can take them in. It's the holidays. They're going to go see their parents they haven't seen in a long time. They're going to go see their daughter at college. I'd make so many reasons for them why I wanted the trip so badly for them to have. But at the end of the day, end up draining me and burning me out and burning the team out. Now I treat service agreement, like I've said in previous episodes, like the Bible for me. The service agreement is the end all be all. So if you do not book by cutoff date, you are either going to pay the fee and or just be declined for the service. And again, that's a communication that we have in our business as our company culture through clients and staff. And that could be something that you may think about implementing as you move forward. The secret to having a happy holiday crew. So, one thing I eventually got right was compensation. Anytime I ask my team to work more hours or on the holidays where they're going to be missing out from family and friends, that really means a lot to me because, as you all know, I worked in the automotive industry for years before this. And I knew exactly what that meant by missing out on those precious moments. And so compensation at least made me feel a little bit better. I remember telling myself, you know what, it's Christmas, but I'm going to make a lot of money. So going into January, February, I won't feel so much pressure because I'm going to stack up, around the Christmas time. So I always had that philosophy that it felt at least a little bit better. And so I did implement that with my team. You want to make sure your clients know that the holiday fees will go directly to the staff member, and that's going to be a little extra to help them when they're with your family and not with their own. Early on, I did expect my staff to just kind of step up and cover the shifts without giving them any extra incentives about it, just because they already were going to get that holiday booking fee. And by that time, a lot of my clients, as you all know, level A clients, they don't even care about fees. And I say this up and down all around. If you have a client that wants to go somewhere, they're going to pay the fee. If they want it bad enough, they do not care about your fee. It's like laughable to them, honestly, because they're like, listen, my life is chaotic, but to pay you an extra $50, whatever, pay it. I'm out of here. I got the opportunity. I'm going to take it. So don't feel bad about fees. Clients actually really, they expect them. What worked for us also was rotating the holiday shifts. We all know that Thanksgiving, December, New Year's fall right behind each other. Labor Day, Memorial Day, some of those holidays that really build up. I found that the crew that worked on Thanksgiving would be the crew that's gonna be off for December. Now you get a lot of staff members who are like, "I wanna work, I need to make money," and that's okay if that's what they wanna do, but I really do encourage them that, "Hey, you just worked Thanksgiving, why don't you go ahead and take off for Christmas? Just relax, like, binge movies if you have to, but really just take care of your body so you're refreshed for the new year." And then anyone that worked on Christmas would be off for New Year, so they're not all working holidays back to back to back. You all know if you've done a year or 2 what that can do to your body. And burnout comes silently. That is the worst thing about burnout is you don't realize you are burnt out until you're already there. There's really not a lot of warning because you're kind of pushing through it. You're like, "Oh, I'm okay. I'm fine. I'm fine." Next thing you know, you're sick. You have a hoarse throat and you're just like, what I always say, if I don't take myself out, God will take me out one way or another. Sometimes burnout you don't even realize is happening, but I encourage the team, listen, take care of your body so we can start really fresh, going into the new year. As I reflect on the holidays in December as I post this episode, I really want to think back to those early holiday seasons when I really realized how much I was letting the business run me instead of the other way around. And you might be feeling that right now as you listen to this. Starting this business was because I wanted freedom. As you may, I wanted to spend time with my family, travel, live a life I wanted in my pet era. But during those holiday seasons, I was doing the complete opposite. I was missing out on my own life because I hadn't set the right boundaries in the very beginning. And now business works for me, not the other way around. And that's what I want for you all. Think about, what? I don't know if I'm as prepared this season, but I promise you, Natasha, this is my last season. I'm going to feel this way. This is the last season I'm going to go through this. I'm going to start making small, powerful changes like setting cutoff dates, capping bookings, rotating shifts, compensating my team fairly. I'm going to make these small changes that I didn't do, this year. So my team doesn't hate me and they'll come back, especially if you have like a sitter network. One thing I implemented also that I didn't add is that anytime I had a team who had already been trained with us, who already knew our system, our clients, but they would leave and go on to a new job, I would ask them, "Hey, do you mind staying on our sitter network?" They're like, "Oh, what's that?" The sitter network is simply just a network of people who have day jobs, teacher, contractor, whatever you're doing in your career, but you wouldn't mind taking care of animals in your free time. If you come back home for the holidays or so, if you want to pick up shifts, I can send you an email on our sitter network and ask you, "Hey, do you have any availability?" And 9 times out of 10, they say, "Yeah, that'd be great. Like, I really don't want to stop working here, but obviously this is not my forever job. But when I'm in town and you have some shifts, sure, I'd love to take on." Having a sitter network would really be great, especially for pet sitters. We're the ones that work a lot in the holidays, but having that opportunity to call in, 5 or so people in to kind of help you in the rush season, that would be also something really good to implement right now. Keeping in contact with people who have previously worked with you that wouldn't mind, taking on extra shifts, your student network. As you guys join me on this episode, I hope you got some insightful tips on how to survive the holiday crunch. I hope this episode gives you some tools, inspiration, some lessons from me. I like to get straight to the point and help you guys make it a little bit less stressful, more enjoyable. So don't forget to subscribe. If you have a friend that you are complaining with, your business bestie, go ahead and send them this episode too. A few things they can do to make this year and the coming years a little more easier. You guys can follow us at petairpodcast.com. Click on join our Telegram. Our Telegram is where we talk behind the scenes on what's happening on the episode and how we can help you implement some of these strategies in your business. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you on the next one.